Alright, this is LED sign installation, take 1. Before getting into today's video, let me just explain something real quick. For those who don't remember, I made a community poll last Tuesday. Well, yeah, last Tuesday, by the time you guys are seeing this, about what I should call you guys other than Fellow Knights of the Puzzle Table. I gave you 3 options to choose from. You guys voted, and sure enough, you guys wanted the second option on said poll. So, with that being said, salutations, Spectrum Soldiers. My name is Sir Hamdalot, and welcome back to my YouTube channel for the first video of 2023. I decided to call you guys Spectrum Soldiers because Fellow Knights of the Puzzle Table, I've been calling you guys that since ever since the first year of YouTube. However, it has come to my attention that a puzzle piece is an offensive term for those on the spectrum. Even though I'm a part of the community, I didn't know that. I'm sorry about that for those if I offended anybody. So I gave a community poll on this channel, on the community post, for one of 3 options. Well, one of 4 options. Should I change the name? If so, to what? And I gave you guys basically 3 options that I came up with: Infinites, short for Infinity Knights, Spectrum Soldiers, or Sunflower Squad. I basically explained in greater detail what those meant. After about a week of being up, with 60% of the votes, you guys chose Spectrum Soldiers. And so, from now on, I'm not going to call you guys Fellow Knights of the Puzzle Table. I'm going to call you guys Spectrum Soldiers. Another thing that's changed for the 2023, you might have noticed, there's no puzzle piece table. I thought since I don't call you guys the Fellow Knights of the Puzzle Piece Table anymore, and the puzzle piece is an offensive symbol, I thought to myself, why keep an offensive symbol in the background? That doesn't make sense. So I disassembled it, and I didn't throw it away. I also didn't put it in the garage. I just put it in this closet for now. There's no space in the garage, basically. With those things out of the way, on to today's video. For those who haven't seen last week's video, where I did the holiday haul for last year, basically, I got a LED sign for my room. It's actually right there. You really can't read what it says unless you saw the intro title, unless you saw the intro cinematic, but it says on air. I'll insert some B-roll footage of it right now. Bam. Basically, I got it from Queen and King Hamdalot for the holidays. It is amazing. The camera doesn't really do it justice, honestly, though. However, for this video, I'm gonna tell you guys the step-by-step process of how I installed the LED sign. And I included some B-roll footage with this camera. But anyway, let me explain step-by-step how I installed this sign. Here you go. So basically, I started off with holding the sign up to where I wanted to have it. But it was a bit tricky because I had to keep a leveler, you know, that hardware tool to keep it balanced, on top of it with one hand. With the other hand, I had a pencil and I marked the holes on where the screws would go for holding up the sign. I'll explain how I messed up later, but I did mess up in the placement of the holes. I don't know how, but I'll explain later. Anyway, after marking the holes, I laid the sign and the leveler down gently. Top of that thing, I had to clear off that entire part of the shelf where the sign was, everything in front of the sign, because I had to have proper workspace. After marking the holes, I took a cordless drill that King Hamdalot let me borrow, and I drilled the holes right where they were supposed to be, in theory. I'll explain later again. Then I took some anchors. If you don't know what anchors are, it's not like a ship anchor. It's usually inside of your walls you have like wall studs, which are made of wood, and you usually don't need anchors for those. But since the shelf above the TV unit, since the wall studs or the shelf brackets are, needless to say, I couldn't use the wall studs. So I had to get some anchors, and I used a nail hammer, and just hammered it into the wall to make sure it was secure. And you gotta use it gently, or else you'll make a dent in your wall. I've heard horror stories about that. I've never done that personally, but so then after adding the anchors, I used the screws again. King Hamthelot provided me with, and then a screwdriver, and just screwed the screwdrivers into the wall. Now, you want to make sure you don't screw it completely into the wall. You want to have some space in between the screws heads and the wall, just so you can hang the sign. And it was here when I noticed I messed up when I was hanging up the sign. It was here that I realized I drilled a hole in the wrong place by a 1/2 inch. Of all things, I noticed that if I put in one screw into the mounting part, the other screw was like a 1/2 inch too far to the was out of alignment from the other hole. So basically, if I tried to hang it, when I tried to slide it down, it wouldn't be completely balanced. It would be a little crooked, which, needless to say, was annoying. So I had to improvise. I loosened the screws a little bit more, not all the way, just a little bit more. And I basically hung the sign from in there, held the sign steady and balanced, and basically had to tighten the screws, not all the way, because this is a glass LED sign, it would break. I tightened the screws like more into the wall and made sure that they were sturdy, and sure enough, it worked. Like, I was impressed by it. So basically, with the LED sign, it has an on-off button. I wanted to make sure the sign was cable managed, but also had ease of access to it. So I routed the cable behind the TV support beam and through the support beam's cable routing hole in the back behind the TV, and I plugged it in to the power strip, well, right here. But then I realized the power button, the power switch was too low for me to reach without risk knocking over my TV. So what did I do? Instead of compromising with the fact that I couldn't reach it, I grabbed some double-sided tape, cut a piece off, attached it to the back of the control panel, and pressed it against the support beam behind my TV unit, high enough to where I could reach it, but not too high to where everyone could see it. So it's like near the top bezel of my TV, but not quite. And sure enough, it worked. I've had this sign attached for about, I think, a week now by the time I'm filming this. And it works. It's the control panel is still attached to that support beam right here. I was really happy with how it turned out. Like, I was really proud of myself that I actually did something like this. And that's how I installed my LED sign behind my head. I know you really can't see it from here because of how it just looks like a white blob behind my figurines, like a spotlight. But in real life, it's amazing. Like, I absolutely love this thing. Take my word for it, it's awesome. Although that particular sign, I mentioned this in the previous video, Queen Hamthelot explained it to me, but that's actually the second sign Queen Hamthelot ordered for me for our holidays. The first one didn't turn on. It wasn't broken or anything, like frame-wise. It just wouldn't turn on, which was really weird. So, buyer beware. The wiring can short out a little bit if you're not careful. Also, be careful when turning it on. You do not want to look directly at it. Queen Hamthelot had to readjust her eyes because she got flashbanged, basically. But yeah, I think with that being said, that'll do for today's video, guys. I know this video really wasn't much, but I am planning something for the next few weeks, and it's going to take a long time to make said videos. I'm planning a updated desk setup tour for 2023, an updated room tour for 2023 in the coming weeks, so prepare yourselves for that. But there's still a lot I have to do for not only the desk, but also my entire room. So there's a lot to do. Plus I'm in kind of crunch mode for this video. This week's been crazy. My nephew has reached that age where he's very loud, and when he doesn't get what he wants, he screams. And I can't soundproof my door. I even added a door air blocker to it, and he's still really loud with it, as is the rest of my family. So there's that. So I have to basically record while he's either out of the house or napping. And this week hasn't been the greatest for recording. Plus, I need a little break. That's all I'm gonna say right now because I have to edit this video, and there's it's more complicated than what I just explained, like why I haven't been able to film. But that's for a later video. And it's already Monday by the time I'm filming this, and this video is supposed to be up in 4 days. I'm definitely in crunch mode. So I'm gonna leave off the video here. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, drop a like you're dropping the bass. Wow, wow. And give the old subscribe button the old smizzity smack. And I'll see you fellow knights in the next video. Dudes.